Can you guys hear me okay? Hey guys, well thank you for joining us on another week. Victor, nice to see you. Tony, Mr. Renaud. Uh, okay, JC, I'm not sure if I've seen you before, JC Watkins. Thank you for joining. One of the things that we've been covering for the past couple of weeks has been how to implement AI, how to use AI, artwork. Last week we were able to have Chris, go over Kittle, which was really, it was really, mind blowing to me. All the different things that you're able to do with it. So one of the things that I wanted to kind of pick up from there, but kind of transition over to, how to handle, various print shop, problems that might pop up and how to handle those. But before I get started with that, I kind of wanted to go, those of you guys that are familiar with the process, I wanted to see, since the last week you guys were here, if you guys want to share some wins that you've had since last week. I know Mr. Victor Rubio, you were a little quiet last week, so I'm gonna start with you.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Um, just you know, Little League Baseball, they're in All-Star and tournament season, and so just supporting all my different teams with their All-Star stuff, and I built them a cool little thing where, if people want to get a t-shirt, they can get an affordable t-shirt for 17 bucks with just the basic logo on the front, and then if they want to put the roster of their team on the back, that's an upcharge, and if they want to put their player's name on the back with the number or the number on the front. Like I made it so that they can have all these options and it accommodates people who are on a budget and just want to get a basic t-shirt, and those who want to get uh, more customized items, it accommodates them as well, and it did really well. So I'm working on all those items. I um, I plan to have them all delivered to the snack bar next week, and then I'm off on a vacation for a week.
Nice. Where are you headed off to?
My wife has family in the Bay Area, so we're just going to drive up there and say hello to everybody.
Okay, up by Frisco.
Yeah, they live in Orinda, which is on the other side of the bridge.
Okay, yeah, I'm actually gonna be going up there. I think in the next couple of weeks, they're doing like the San Francisco Marathon.
Oh,
Uh,
you're doing that?
yeah, I'm doing the 5K.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, my mother-in-law, she's 83, so we've been kind of pushing her like for the past couple of years. She's been collecting her little 5K medals here and there.
Uh-huh.
So we just did one this past weekend, and we're gonna be going up to Frisco for that. I think it's in July or towards
It's
the
in
end of
July.
June.
It is in July because they're actually my clients. So when you go and pick up your bib and you run your event, when you walk out of the bib area, you'll walk right into the big, huge merchandise booth with all the San Francisco Marathon stuff.
Okay,
That's my team. So that's the on-site portion of my team, and they'll have all the merchandise there, and then I build their website and manage the store, the online store for them and whatnot. So
oh,
let me
that's
know
really
when you
cool.
go, and I'll see if I can get you a little swag bag.
Okay, that's good. I'll definitely contribute to the cause. Get a
Yes,
couple items.
send a gallon of white ink, and we'll call it even.
Oh, you're like talking to the wrong department. The only thing
I
we
don't
can
know. I
send
see
you
the
is
last name. I see the last name.
the last name doesn't mean anything in this corporation. How Mauricio? If anything, it's like a target. Well, I'm
Yeah, no,
definitely gonna
so
be
when you
picking.
go, let me know, and we'll talk on the side, and I'll get you a little package.
Oh, cool. Thanks. I'll definitely let you know. And then, when are you gonna be gone next week?
Well, I'll be I'll be here because we're not leaving. Well, we're driving up Wednesday, but I'll probably be driving on the 5 when we have our call. And
Okay.
but I probably won't be at the event. But if I do, I'll let you know. It's kind of 50-50 right now. I typically don't go to the events. But they're kind of hinting that they want me to go, so we'll see.
Okay, that's cool. I'm definitely gonna be picking your brain in today's topic for sure.
All right.
That, that has to do with obstacles. And well, thank you for sharing that. Super excited that it's one of your customers. Those are definitely the good ones to have. So you're doing like all the event merchandise and the merchandise there and all that stuff.
Yeah, so we do all the official merchandise. So we're the only ones that'll be in the convention and the finish line selling merchandise that actually says San Francisco Marathon. There'll be other people selling San Francisco shirts or like gear, but we're the only
Hmm.
ones allowed to use the logo. So that's
Okay.
our deal.
Do you mind sharing how you came across, landing an account like that?
So back in the day, I used to do like e-commerce sites for pro sports teams, right? And so I built the first store for the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Kings. I did stores for the Thunder, the Raiders, Cal, Charlotte Bobcats, you know it. I was pretty much doing like half the NBA teams at one time, and
Oh
a lot
wow.
of teams in Canada. So I just got, I got into e-commerce at the right time. I met the right people, and then I was just building stores for them and managing their fulfillment. And at one point, we were running like 8 warehouses in Canada and the United States, and just shipping for all these teams. And it was pretty nice and exciting. And I love being able to go to games. I hate buying sports tickets now. That's like a big bummer. But when Fanatics came in, they came in with like $4 billion in their pocket, and they bought all that business. And so I ended up, and the guys that are going to be in San Francisco, we ended up not servicing those teams anymore because we didn't have the budget to outprice them. But
Hmm.
but there's like this whole other tier of clients, like races, like marathons and stuff, that Fanatics doesn't want to do because it's one event a year. But we do a lot of them. So it's, 25, 30 events a year. And we just use the same formula because we were actually printing the merchandise for the teams. Now we print the merchandise for the marathons and so on. And so then, it's just there's plenty of business out there for everybody. You just got to find that niche, and once you start working with one, the other ones notice, and you get a big name like Miami or something like that, or Philadelphia and San Francisco notices, and then we just start talking with them. So it's just networking and going to events and the racing conventions and stuff like that, and meeting with them. And then we've always just we've expanded to the print on demand for all these races about 4 years ago, because we started that right before COVID started. And so we just kind of have a combination of merchandise at the event, merchandise online, special merchandise with their customization with their times and stuff like that. And it's just, staying within that network of people.
Oh, that's really good. So would you say you go to events and you kind of ask around who might be in charge of the merchandise?
Um, we usually get recommendations from other marathon directors, because it's kind of hard to cold call. So we use a lot of the recommendations that we get from other people, and they go to our events and they're like, "Hey, who did this? This is really great. We want this for our event." So like the San Francisco Marathon has tens of thousands of runners, right? Well, I also do like the Bethlehem Running Festival in Pennsylvania, which has a couple thousand runners, and we still can offer that size event, merchandising, and we'll set up a small 10 by 10 booth with merchandise, and then most of it will be online. So it's just being able to scale, having the network of people to work. Obviously, we're just a team of like 4 or 5 that does all of that stuff. But we have a network of 100 different on-site vendors in different parts of the country that we hire to do those events. And those are the concert people that you see. Like they'll work a concert one weekend, they work a marathon another weekend, and stuff like that. Like that's their whole job in the career. And so we leverage them a lot in order to expand for whatever we need. But yeah, it's just networking, getting out and talking. Like we've always told Anna, right? Like you just got to get out there and text them and talk to them and see what they need and fulfill those empty holes that they need. And that's pretty much how it's been.
Oh, that's really good. Pretty much you've been building it over the years. Yeah, I wasn't aware that Fanatics just came in and made such a big splash with all that investment money.
Oh yeah, they just took over pretty much all the pro sports teams, but that's okay. You know what I mean? It's like when when I was working for a smaller company that was doing like 26 teams across the country, and um, they when Fanatics came in, one of the other competitors of Fanatics hired me, and I'm like, I don't want to work this. This is like I worked for them for a month, and I just didn't like their culture. I didn't like the way that, I didn't like that corporate world. It just didn't fit with me. And so I left, and then I'm like, okay, well, there's these whole other levels, so I just leveraged that. So it was an easy, it was an easy transition, and knock on wood, with the skills and the network connections that we've had, like we've never not been able to have business. So knock on wood, I feel really blessed about that. Even during COVID, when everything was dead, we still was able to churn out some sort of business somewhere. So just keep pounding it, keeping yourself relevant, keep doing that. That's all I've been trying to do.
Okay, that's really good to hear. So during COVID, were you like printing face masks, or what were you kind of doing during COVID? I don't think we ever had this conversation.
So you guys delivered my printer the last week of February before COVID hit, and then COVID was like the second week of March. So the whole plan was to um, do POD for these events, and then do customization as a phase two. And it ended up uh, not working out that way. A lot of these events had to figure out how to continue, getting money. So what they would do is they would do virtual runs. I don't remember if during COVID, if you're a marathon runner, they'd be like, okay, well, run your 26 miles across 5 days, 10 days, one day. Log it into our books, and then we'll record it for you, and then we'll send you medals and T-shirts. And so then we turned that into a merchandising ploy as well. And yes, I got into a little bit of selling masks. I was working with a guy who was an importer for medical goods, and he was like the only ones that had uh, latex gloves. He had hand sanitizer. He had all that stuff. We were selling a lot of that. He had the good high end masks. So we built a store and just kind of popped up on that as well. And then, once everything kind of settled down, we just went back to normal. But that whole POD stuff ended up really growing through there, because we were able to expand the product line without investing in inventory, which is really like the key model to POD, right? Like
Yeah.
I want to be able to sell 100 shirts with 100 designs, and not carry 1,000 shirts just to maintain that, right? I want to carry
Mhm.
20 shirts and then keep
Yeah.
refilling as I go. Those are just our numbers for the sake of argument, but that's the plan, right? And so we've kept that model going. And that team that's going to be doing the event, I work with them as an independent. So my company is still RGB Commerce. I build them for my services as RGB Commerce, but I work with them on a daily basis to get all this stuff going. And so with the one printer, I bought a second printer, and I have a sublimation machine now, and I have embroidery machines, and I leverage all these races across the country, and I make like this stuff, like oh, my camera's here, like these mugs. Like this is someone's mug with their bib on it and their name, and then on the bottom it has their time, if you can see it. Like here's a better
Yeah.
one, like that, like it has their bib number, their time. And so we sell these for $35 a piece. And customers eat them up. So every race we're getting 100 to 1,000 different mug orders, and then just producing them on, custom for them. And
Oh, that's
so
really cool.
so that this print on demand stuff, kind of, we did it one time with the Los Angeles Marathon like 10 years ago, when the machine can only print white, or it couldn't do color, it could only do white, and we were doing custom bibs at the event and stuff like that. I think we had a brother back then, and it did really well at the event, but again, it was really slow, and we had people backed up and whatnot. So taking that whole idea, seeing how the technology had evolved, seeing what we can do with it, and then being able to make a lot of those Photoshop edits very quickly. It just made a lot of sense to now my company makes the other company I partner with is a lot stronger, because when they go and they bid for an event, they say we can do the event, we can do the finish line, we can create product for you, we can fulfill, but then we can also do all this customized stuff one up for your customers, which expands like a whole new line of product. And so as an independent company for the other company, no one, not like San Francisco Marathon, they don't know who RGB Commerce is. I am, just part of the other company, so I white label my service for them, and so that's kind of the partnership there.
Okay, that's really good. So will I be able to like order a mug from you for the San Francisco one with the
So
saving time?
we're producing it right now. They're a little bit behind the curve. The San Francisco Marathon is a little slower in doing things at times, but they are in the middle of processing and designing the mug, and sure, they're going to have it on the site.
Okay, well, definitely. So I can order it on their site, and that's pretty much you're the one that's going to be making it.
Yeah, no, I'll be making. I'll even put a little note in
Okay,
there. Say thank
all
you.
right, cool. Cool things. I'll definitely be ordering some of those for sure.
Yeah.
And then Miss Audrine, nice to see you. Do you have a win that you would like to share since last week?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Mm, good, because the last time I was having trouble with this microphone. I had to have somebody come over and fix that for me. But that's my win. Y'all are able to hear me. And you
Well,
guys are
that's a
able to
big
hear
win.
me today. Yes. And
Yeah, that's a big
but
win.
I do have some questions. Um when you start taking questions. That's
No, we're right here. We're all freestylers, right? There's no
okay.
real. Yeah, so you throw it as it comes because I know unless you're writing it down, I tend to forget. So I just, I ADD my way into anything.
Okay. Okay, understandable. Hello everyone, first and foremost, Victor and Tony and JD. How y'all doing? My question is now my machine, I have a direct vomit machine. OmniPrint free Jet 330. It's not the 330 TX plus, but I'm still paying on the machine. So well, I guess what my question is, uh, am I, and it's been over a while, I know, am I still able to get someone to guide me through replacing a part, or do I just need to go to a YouTube?
Not like guide you in regards to how to order parts and how to
No, not order parts, but replacing a part.
replacing the parts. Yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely have we definitely have staff that can help you out with that. Mauricio, do you mind putting the text information on the chat so in that way Audrine can look that up and reach out. Yeah, because you can definitely reach. What part are you looking to replace? And I'll tell you
The not the print head, but the
pump,
the uh
the pump.
the yeah, that pump.
Okay.
Yeah, I already have the pump, and it's just been sitting in a box for about a month now. I'm like, that's a little bit tedious, and I did not want to do it by myself. So yeah. So, and the reason I'm able to get back on this on the webinars is because I resigned from my job, which was really holding me back from being on these webinars. It's been a long time since the last couple of times that I've been on here. I was working, so I'm like, I'm back now. So I'm hoping that I can gain some more knowledge about my machine and about other things. And I do have another question. I want to know if I can. Is it possible that you can swap machines? Like instead of the direct to garment, I may want to go into the direct to film.
In regards to swapping machines, I don't think we have anything like that. Do you mind putting Luke's email in the chat as well, Mauricio? That way you can reach out to. His name is Luke. You can
Uh,
ask him any. You can ask him anything printer related. I see Mauricio put the YouTube video. That's a YouTube video on how to replace the pump, Mauricio. So are you seeing the chat, Audrey? All the
yes.
information. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. If you want to copy those links, I've personally replaced the pumps. They're not that difficult to do. I'm not sure, Victor, if you ever replaced one of the pumps on the free jets. I don't know if you want to chime in What's your
the video is pretty simple.
It's a,
You're going to need the right screwdriver, the long one.
yeah,
And
yeah.
the only thing that I would recommend, it's not on there, is go on Amazon and buy one of those magnetic cups that you can put all your screws in.
I bought one of those.
So that, and with that, I think you'll be fine. You just, it just everything should slip in. That you don't have to force anything in. And
Okay.
as long as that happens, it's pretty good. If it's still under warranty, I don't know if OmniPrint will give you phone support. If you're out of warranty, they might
They
charge you.
they were supposed to, they like I didn't keep up with the warranty deal. So, but I think my warranty ended at January or February. So, but nobody asked me if I wanted to get an extended warranty, if that makes any sense.
Got it.
Let me see if I can copy. I'm not sure, Mauricio, if you got Luke's info, but if not, I can put it in the chat. I already copied it. So you can email Luke at
Okay.
omniprintonline.com, authoring. He's
Okay.
gonna have all that. He's gonna have all that information for you. Changing the print heads, not that I'm not the print head. I mean the pump's not that difficult. I've personally done it in the past. Just watching the video step by step. And when I did it, I don't even think we had the step by step video. I had to like just look up other resources. That's back in the day.
Mm.
But yeah, the video that Mauricio put, it should definitely be able to help you out.
Okay, great.
And then if you,
Thanks.
what were you doing before, like work wise?
I was working part-time at Cafe Du Monde. I live in New Orleans. So
Oh,
Cafe Du Monde, the one of the oldest beignet cafes in the history, really. And so I was actually working at the gift shop. So that's what I was doing part-time.
okay, that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. I know. The last time I went to New Orleans was, wow. This must have been like 8, 9 years ago. They used to have big printing shows that would be in New Orleans. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know why they stopped having them over there, but they were. It was really fun to go and attend. Being over there, and it's definitely it kind of opened my eyes. Where I'm like, man, you could still be within the U.S. and it's like so different.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, thank you for sharing. We'll definitely help you out with that. Um, you know,
Okay.
I know I've been seeing you, so look, reach out to those resources, and we'll definitely be able to help you out.
Okay, great. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Mr. Tony, nice to see you. I'm envying you. I wish I had a pool like that.
Me too. I
How
guess
you been?
I want to take down the Buffalo Bills sign in the background this meeting, till we make some
Yeah.
real. But my win is being able to be here. To be able to hear Victor talk about his experience and how he's growing his business and how he started, and it's encouraging. Especially hopefully I don't mispronounce your name, Mrs. Frank, but Arthurine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I would like for, if I could just provide a little bit of encouragement, because I remember I was in your position as well, starting everything, having another job, trying to get everything going, working with your printer and trying to juggle everything to, know that you have a printing system and you on here with everybody, seems people have their business going and you trying to get it. Then you have equipment breakdowns and you're spinning around and you get off over here and now you're coming back. So I just want to applaud you for even jumping back in the game, jumping back in the game. And because I feel this is family, this is our business family. And I had went away as well, similar situation, but I've been back for like the last 8 meetings. And it's just so much great information. Like I want to ask Victor real quick. Victor, when you was, setting up the cups and doing the cups for the special events and everything for these people like this, as far as setting up stores for them, have you ever taken one of the stores that comes with our work packages and actually set up a store for one of your customers and sell stuff like that? You know?
So I pretty much work on Shopify exclusively.
Yes.
So different customers have different requirements. Like the San Francisco Marathon, they're going to want to have their own store. So we set up their own store. The Philadelphia Marathon has their own store. And I manage all those. But when it comes to like I was talking about tiers of clients, like I used to work in the pro level, and then I went to marathons, which was kind of a different tier of customer. I've also taken my POD stuff and I've gone to I wouldn't say I don't use lower like a worst tier. It's just a different tier. And I do a lot of high school sports. And high school sports, they don't have the budget to build a store. They don't have a budget to maintain it, and they need money. So what I do is I go to different high schools and I say, hey, your sport has, you know, 200 students in it or whatever, 50 students in it. We have 50 students. And that means they have 100 parents, you know, technically, and they have family members and stuff like that. And all those people want a t-shirt that supports their kid, Johnny, who plays soccer and he plays number 5 and he has a Westview logo. So I'll make you a Westview soccer store, won't cost you anything, and then I'll give you a percentage back. But in order to cut down my cost on that, since I don't charge them to build a store, I have one store that has multiple clients on it. So it doesn't exclude a high school team from being able to have a professional level merchandise line because they have to pay money to host a store, because they won't do it. It doesn't make sense, especially when you deal with like the public school system. They're not going to spend money on that kind of stuff. But whatever you can do to give them so they can make money, they're always in for that. So if you go to my site, you'll see there's like Westview football, Westview basketball, Westview swim, you have Mira Mesa soccer, you know, and then different clients like that. And if they don't want to host a store and they don't want to pay for it, that's fine. I won't exclude them from getting business. And even if like if soccer does $1,200 a year in sales for me, and it's all in like 1 month time, okay, so you add $1,200 to the top, right? And then I give back the team X percent. So
Right.
instead of spending money and trying to like buy Google ads and marketing and stuff like that, I don't do any of that. Their expense, those schools' expense is to market their team families, which at the end of the day is better than just a random Google ad because they're targeted people. They're
Right.
people who want that merchandise. They just need to know that it's there. So that's kind of my motto.
Excellent, Jewel. Excellent, Jewel. And those are the type of things that I'm talking about, you know, about as far as being family here, being able to share information like that that can be pertinent to all of our, you know, success. So again, thank you, Victor. Agner, you know, it's a lovely thing that we have going here. And Arthurine, just stay encouraged, you know, because one of my team members is here. And when she heard you speaking, she was like, Tony, find out where she's from and let's see if we can help her. And that just touched me just now through a text message. And while she's going through training, she wants to help you, you know? And so, I mean, that's just beautiful. So, you know, it's encouraging, you know, stay.
The one thing I want to say is that there's enough business out there for everybody. So I don't mind sharing a little bit of that sauce.
Yeah,
Thank you
definitely.
so much, guys. I really appreciate that. And Victor, so you're a print on demand store? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, I have a few. I probably have a dozen items that are pre-printed because a client wants me to do it and it's cheaper for me to just buy the bulk. But yeah, pretty much everything is the same black t-shirt, the same white t-shirt, the same hooded sweatshirt across different brands with different logos and different designs. And the order comes in and it's designed 1452. And so we make it 1452 and we print it and we ship it out. The next t-shirt is designed 1238. And we print it and we send it and stuff like that. So it's all aggregate, right?
Can you put your you say you have a store? Do you have a link to it? What's the
yeah. Do you want me to share my screen? Is that okay, Edgar? Share my screen?
Yeah, let's share your screen.
Okay, hold on.
We're having an intimate meeting this week.
Yes, because it's just encouraging, you know, to see where we are and what we're trying to get to and what our colleagues is doing, and we, you know, and what, like, same for example, you know, when you set me up where we was setting our store up, where I have a standard shirt, you know, so I don't have to keep flipping between all of the available products that we have, get a good quality one, stick with that, and go with, you know, keep it standardized. And so I think that's what you was just talking about, Vic.
Does
Yeah,
everybody
and
see
then
this?
Victor, Vic, do you have like certain different product types, or do you keep it like your t-shirts just a general brand, kind of like what Tony was talking about right now? Do you have different brands, or is it just a
So
general shirt?
I stick with the Toltex 202 for the men's, which is a really nice shirt. It feels like a Bella shirt. It's less expensive than a Bella shirt. And when it comes to t-shirts, most of the clients they don't want to get into that detail. And I don't want to tell clients that I'm giving them a Bella shirt because then I'm limited. Sometimes if the Toltex shirt is out, I'll change it for a district threads, or I'll change it for something else that's nice. I usually don't do like the basic Gildan because that's like a harder cardboardy feeling shirt. But
Yeah,
you know, I keep those things ambiguous because then it gives me the flexibility. So I don't inventory shirts by design. I inventory t-shirts by color. How many whites do I have? How many blacks? Now, when a customer orders 3 black shirts, most of the time I only have Toltecs. But if there's a time when I have to mix it up, I make sure I send them all district threads, or I send them all Toltecs. I don't mix and match on the same order. But Totex is very rarely out of style, and that was a problem that we had during COVID. We don't have that problem anymore. That supply chain's gone.
I think one of the things that I had on my list was inventory management, and you just touched up on the inventory as far as like having too little and not having enough. What's your balance with inventory? How do you tackle that?
I only keep black and white t-shirts in stock and some certain color performance shirts. I think I made a mistake in the beginning by carrying a lot more, so I will have more merchandise than that available, and I'm just slowly like going through that. I just had a billing change with a client where I'm going to I'm no longer billing my client, I'm billing his client directly for sales, which means I had to buy all of their sweatshirts, which was it was a pretty hefty amount. It was like $7,500 worth of fitted sweatshirts. But
Oh wow.
as soon as I get rid of all of those, I usually keep about 2 dozen t-shirts per size, from youth small to adult double X, and then I'll keep like a dozen hooded sweatshirts in stock for like the colors that I need, and that'll really reduce the amount of quantity that I have. Because with me being in San Diego and Sanmar shipping out of Reno and Phoenix, and SS filling out of Reno, it only takes me a day to get stuff. So with my site, right away I let people know that every order takes 2 to 3 weeks. So that gives me plenty of time to get stock in if I'm out.
Hmm. Perfect. Yeah, that's good.
And
So
I
for
have this
hoodies,
big ugly
for
shipping notice on here because I'm going to be on vacation. So I'm letting people know that if you order during this time, it's not going to ship out to the week of July 1st.
well, that's good. But yeah, I'm sure you'll know, I'm sure from my experience when I used to put a lot of signs on websites, customers still tend to. There's some customers that overlook that and they just Mr. Magoo their way to the website, right?
Oh, totally. I 100%. People don't read. But if you go, it's on every single one of my pages, right? So it's there, and it's in an ugly yellow. So I didn't pick the color because it was pretty. I picked the color because it was like, holy crap, what am I looking at?
Yeah, for sure. No, that's definitely good.
So going back, so this is my homepage. My homepage is really about my services. I don't sell product on my home pages. I sell me. So if I have a new client and I send them to my website, they'll see that I'm a San Diego custom apparel maker. I'll create your web store. I'll do apparel printing. I'll do custom embroidery service. I'll do sublimation. Right away, you can get a hold of us. I put my Instagram feed on here. I show some of the customers that we work with. And then I just have some blob of like, what do we do? What kind of support do we offer? What kind of security? Just selling stuff so that people can see that I'm a real person and a real business. And um, and then so current stores. So these are the clients that don't want to have their own store. They want me to host it for them. So like, for instance, Mira Mesa field hockey, lacrosse, soccer, swim team, water polo. So each one of these are sections. So if the Westview football team, for instance, is going to promote, they're just going to send people directly to this Westview football page. They don't send them to the home page. And then here are all the items. And then I custom made this sub menu here. So they can click through all 58 items, right? And it's a jacket and this and all the stuff. If you're familiar with Sanmar, you're like, oh, I know that item. Or if you're familiar with SS, I know that item. And if it's a woman and she wants something for herself, then she can click on women's and then she only gets her items, which I don't know why that guy's there. It's probably a unisex tee. But if you just want headwear, right there. If you just want breast cancer awareness items, right there. And if you are in like Mira Mesa Little League, well, actually, I'll show you the one I'm doing right now. So like Little League for All Stars. So these are the items, right? Like we'll do embroidery. So the t-shirt, you can get a t-shirt for this Little League thing for as little as $17.99 for youth. And you'll see then they pick their team. So I know what design they want. And then they're like, hey, do you want to add the roster to the back? Yes. What does the roster look like? It looks like this. Or do you want to add your player's name? So yes, I want to add the player's name. So that's $10 extra. So that $17.99 shirt just became $27.99. Or no, I don't want a back print. Or yes, I do want the player number. What's the name? Okay, so Rubio. And what number do you want? I want 38. And then do you want me to put that number in the front? Yeah, so that adds another $5. So at the end of the day, when they add that item to cart, that's become a $32 t-shirt because they customize it with that stuff. And
that's really cool.
Yeah, and so right there, it passes it along. Like that's the size, that's the item they're ordering. That's their team juniors. So if it's the rosters, I know what team to put on the back. That's the lot, but they would chose their name, that's their number. And then they also said, yeah, I want the number on the front too. And then when the guys get the order, they're like, hey, let me see if I can pull up the order. So here's an all-star T order and print packing slip. So this is what my guys work off. They work off this thing and it says, okay, here's this hooded sweatshirt. He's a juniors. And then do you want the back customized? Yes. And then, but they want their player info. So they have to make a player design that has Perkins and 64 on it. And then do they want the player number on the front? They're like, yeah, that's $5. And then they use this as their billing, their production order. And then they produce it. Now this one is not being shipped. It's actually being delivered directly to the snack bar. So I was able to save customers money that way. So if I told them, I said, if you have all your customers buy at one time, what I can do is not charge them shipping. I could take it to the snack bar and then they can go and pick it up there at the event. And so that saves them $8, right? Because that's how much it would cost to ship it.
Really good.
So that's kind of the flow.
And then as far as meeting deadlines, because that's another thing that's on my list. Like now that you mentioned it, how do you navigate those waters, especially with the type of print on demand that you do?
So in this case, let me pull a calendar up. So I told them
June 5th.
That's where we are now. So they didn't announce their teams until the 18th. So I told them that they can order all the way up to the 26th. And then I will deliver to them on the 12th because I know that their first day of games is on the 13th. So it gave me 2 weeks to produce. And what that 2 weeks does, it allows me to make all the films or order films, depending on the volume, and then order all the blanks. And so knowing that parents are slow and stuff like that, I texted them on the 25th and said, I'm going to extend it an extra day. So I even let them order through Memorial Day. And then on that night, I ordered all the films, I ordered the blanks. The films and blanks landed on the 31st. We matched everything here. And then we've been producing orders. So that pretty much gives me this week and then half of next week to do it. So I based on what I know what the clients are going to do, and how much volume, I give myself about 2 weeks to do it all. And the first week is really just ordering blanks and getting the art done, because I only do DTF, so I don't have to have the blanks here to make the films. And then it pretty much takes us the following week to do it. But one of the nice things about it is, and let me go back to this one, for like, it depends how you want to do it, because like this client, for instance, the Summer Classic, they did a thing where they're hosting a tournament with 10 teams, and each team has 12 players plus 3 coaches. So that's 15 players, that's 15 people per team. With their signups, they included the price of a t-shirt. So what I did is I have those teams come into the site, I give each team their unique discount code, and then they say, I'm on this team, I'm on that team, and then they order all 13, 15 sizes that they need. They place the order, they put in the coupon code, and now I've turned their event into forced sales, right? Like each team is going to want to get their free shirt, and I've alleviated the client from having to like collect the money and or not, in this case they have to collect the money because of the registration, but I alleviate them from having to collect the shirt sizes and then get that all to me. So I just tell the managers to come in here, place their order, they know their team, and then I'm producing all those for free, and then at the end of the event I owe them X percentage for their sales, but then I apply that towards the sales of the free shirt, and then they just pay me the difference.
Oh, that's really clever.
And it is, because you double hit the margins twice. Because if you're paying them, let's say you're paying them out of sake of argument, you're paying them 10%. So out of $100 sale, let's say your cost was 50 and you made 50, but you're paying them 10%, so you gave them $10. So now you made 40 on that sale. And then let's say they spend another $100, but your cost on that is only 50, right? So they're getting their $10 worth of value towards the purchase of the stuff that they bought from you directly, but it didn't cost you $100 to make that stuff. It cost you $50. So really they're only getting $5 of cost value from that $10. So you're making an extra $5 on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So I'm double dipping on the profit margin when they spend their money back in the store, which a lot of high school teams end up doing because they want hats for the coaches, they want tees for the coaches, they want all these different things. But then again, trying to get the department to pay for all this stuff is not something they want to do. So if they accumulate the money that they get from sales and then reinvest it into merchandise for them, you're double dipping on the margin.
That's really good. And then when it comes to, because one of the things I have on here is, quality control. Like, how do you, handle, making sure that the right name, goes for the right garment, or how have you, because you have a lot of stuff going on, how do you find yourself navigating to the whole quality control process?
So every order has a code. This code is the item. The color is on the description, and then this code 1695JRS is the art code. So, and when they print the stuff, and I don't think I have that one made because I did it differently, but not that I did differently, but for instance, like 1290, if I were to open up this one, and this is my DTF file, it's opening up in Photoshop. This is the DTF file, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the back, this is the front, and this is the back. And it has 1290 on it. So this number here better match, this number right here, 1695, better match the number that's on here. And that's how you know which design goes with which.
And then as far as like when you're doing like custom names and numbers, what would you say your error rate is for that?
Very little, because they pay more attention to it, but I do have errors. Like for instance, I just had a customer who ordered a pink shirt and it's the wrong pink. I sent them a dull pink shirt and it was supposed to be a hot pink shirt. And I didn't make the error. My guys made the error. It happens. I immediately tell the person, keep the shirt and I will send you a new shirt. And I end up doing that. So I completely eat it. I don't haggle with them. I do request photos. Like I don't just like do it because they said so. If they said you send me a youth shirt, I said please send me a picture of the tag. And they do. They send me the picture of the tag, and I say great, we'll take care of it. Keep that shirt. And like, but I don't have anybody who fits this one. Give it to one of your teammates, siblings, whatever. Do whatever you want with it. It's theirs to
Mhm.
keep. And
Yeah.
because it cost me more money. It cost me more money to bring it back because I got to pay for postage. And then I got to find it later in case somebody orders it again. And I just don't want to be in that business. And
Yeah.
so, and honestly, at the end of the day, like the print costs $1, the t-shirt costs $2. Like that's still cheaper than shipping it back. So uh we just, I don't haggle with it. And I don't want I don't mind that my clients, like the guys who own these brands, I don't mind that they hear that I make mistakes. I would prefer that they hear that I make mistakes and I actually did something really good about it and took care of that customer, as opposed to being difficult with the customer, because I'm going to make mistakes. Like I'm never going to be perfect, but I have to be perfect in my response. And so that's how I do it.
That's really good. Perfect in your response. I like that.
Yeah.
And then, the next thing I have on here is equipment malfunctions. We've been talking about, troubleshooting and so forth. Um, how do you tend, like, let's say if you find yourself being super slammed and some, because I think you said you have two free jets.
I do. So I bought my first free jet through you guys. And with the amount of business that we're doing, I always had nightmares that that machine would be down and how long it would take to get back up. Not that you guys weren't able to do it, but even a day or 3 days or a week is like, it could be very hard. So I bought a second machine in the open market. Like there were a lot of people who bought machines during COVID who I think that had no business buying machines, and they ended up selling it, and their loss was my gain. I'm sorry, I vultured off of them. But once I got two machines, I felt really comfortable with the process because I have been down. And one of the reasons why I chose Omni is because Omni's like an hour from my house. Your offices are an hour and a half from my house. So if I have to, I'd rather just take it to you guys, have you fix it while the other machine is running. I also
Wow.
was going to buy a DTF roll printing machine, but I decided to buy the prints for now when I need them, and then until I have a need to where I'm surpassing what I would be saving if I did it on my own, right? Like I want the numbers to build themselves. So having that as a backup is a big positive. I have two heat press machines again. My Stalls is fantastic. They have a 5-year warranty, and they send me all the parts and give me all the service for free. And I have been down, and like I've had a heat press down for 3 weeks, and it's a pain in the butt working on one heat press. Once you have two, like you never want to go back. But I sleep better knowing that I have the backup one. And then the sublimation machine, I only have the one sublimation machine. It seems to be doing just fine. It's in my office, like it's pretty well protected. And so I've only had a couple issues with it, but I have an Epson printer place right here by my house, and so they take care of it. But I got 4 ovens because yes, the ovens go down too. So it's just backing up, right? It's having those redundancies. It's really, really important.
And the good thing is that you have given yourself plenty of time for production, right? 2 weeks. 2 weeks is really good, to have in your system in case, you have downtime, something happens, you need to reorder blank. So, when I was doing wholesale, it was like we were always up against the grind with 3 to 5 days. So the mere fact that you're able to do the 2 weeks, that's definitely, good, to be able to, jump through those hurdles when you need to.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, it's just having outlets. Like I've used Yvonne, and them to send me prints. You've sent me prints. I have another company that sends me prints. So, I have a lot of different options there. So, and I met you all through here. So, that's kind of like one of the beauties of this session every week is like I've been able to leverage somebody somehow, sometime.
Yeah, definitely. And that's one of the main reasons I like, everybody just chiming in and, sharing information because, I'll have like a general topic that I want to cover, but at the end of the day, it's bringing value to you guys, right? So it might be where somebody just has a couple of specific, like, authoring, you wanted to figure out how to change the pump, so let's have that conversation, help you out, just to bring you value. So, definitely reach out to those resources. Same thing with Tony. Tony's always good at jumping in and asking what's on his mind. And one of the last things that I wanted to cover with the time that we have left is customer retention. How do you deal with that, Victor? Like, retaining customers. Troubleshooting with them. What has been one of those situations where you just had like a big screw up, uh, misprint, missing deadlines, or something like that, and how were you able to, um, overcome that? And then, what's your normal like customer retention policy? Because I know when I was doing stuff, if I was to go back, I probably would have put more effort into that, little thank you notes, and I definitely would have upped my game on that.
Yeah, so there's two customers in my model. There's my customer, which is the company that owns the brand, right? Like the football team, whatever. But then it's their customers, right? Their families. So I kind of talked to you about how I handle them when I make a mistake. Like I just tell them to keep the shirt and I send it to them. I luckily, knock on wood, I haven't missed any big deadlines. I usually am pretty good about that. Uh, but I keep communication going. Like I tell them, like, hey, we had a problem with UPS, and I let them know that if it's going to be 3 or 4 days late, this is where we are because of it. And I show them, like, look, UPS says this or says that, and these are things that are out of my control. And 9 times out of 10, they're 100% understanding. The biggest mess up that I had to take care of is last year for um, October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the one of the biggest soccer leagues in San Diego, I do their store, and we did pink shirts and we did socks for them. But the socks that the company sent me weren't soccer socks. They didn't go all the way up to cover the shin guards. They kind of like were mid-calf socks. And we had ordered about 500 socks. Like there were 500 socks on orders. And
Yeah.
I didn't mess around. I didn't say like, hey, I'll give you 25% off or whatever. I just took them all back and I gave every single customer their refund. And that cost me a lot of money. It cost me like
Yeah.
$3,000 just for that mistake. But it's not their fault. I should have been more cognizant of what the length size on the sock was. And I told them for the next year, I'll get a sample and make sure it's 100%. And again, I think that I had a perfect response. And what I did with those socks is I went to my local church and I donated all the socks to them, and they gave me $3,000 in tax credit. And so,
Wow.
at least it wasn't all lost, right? Uh,
Yeah.
but so that's how I handle it. And now I see people walking around wearing socks, pink socks all the time, and I'm like, I know where you got those from. I live in a small town, so I see people with like my clients' merchandise on that have no business wearing it because like I'll give away some of the bad samples and stuff like that. And so and I take them to church and they love them. They love all of it. And so they take it and they sell it
Uh,
for a couple bucks, and that helps fund, their things and whatever. But that's how I handle it.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
that's a really good one. Really a really good one that not only does it you remember it in your pocket, but it's a memorable one, right? Socks, pink socks. So I'm sure, like you said,
Yeah.
you kind of go through those and you're making sure that it doesn't happen again. And it's that time again. Mauricio's staring me down,
Damn,
with his
Mauricio, you're
socks.
so mean. We're on a roll here.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, Mauricio has he has the kill switch. He has access to the kill switch. I'm the one that's working remotely. He's the one that's in headquarters. So I definitely appreciate you guys for joining. Like I said, every week, if it wasn't for you guys, it'd just be me and Mauricio probably playing virtual Uno or something like that, right? Virtual Monopoly. So I definitely appreciate you guys joining. Victor, like always, good conversations with you, bringing a lot of knowledge to us. And Tony, Authren, JC and Tracy, I know you guys were just there, observing. Hopefully, you guys got some value out of it today. So, other
Yes.
than that, you guys have a great one, and then we'll see you guys next week.